What's up guys, Joe from JS Bladecraft. I hope you guys are enjoying the summer. We're pretty much getting into the heat of the summer and it is hot. It's definitely hot in New York. I hope it's the weather is great and cooperating on your neck of the woods. Thank you for joining me on another video. So, got a lot of videos to do guys. I have tops, I have condor, I have work tough gear, all these knives that have to come in, and I'm excited. I was just so excited about this one. Not that I'm not excited about the others, because I am definitely stoked about all the other incredible brands I mentioned, but I was so stoked to get this knife from Jed. No, not Zed. Jed, more importantly, Jed HORNBEAK.
Who's Zed?
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
Started with this box, guys, from good old Tennessee, okay? Incredibly wrapped, I gotta say. Very, very good job, Jed. Took a lot of pride in kind of wrapping up his knife. Putting aside the fact that it is an American knife, and we all take pride on knives that are made in America. We take pride in getting American craftsmanship and just something that's made on our soil. You know, having a quality knife made on our soil, we take pride in it. Besides the fact that the guy, the man, the myth behind Jed HORNBEAK Knives is just a gentleman, an amazing salt of the earth kind of guy, upstanding individual. I mean, just great guy to talk to, a great guy to communicate with, a great guy to do business with. He's just a fantastic man. Besides the fact, putting that aside, what I noticed with his knife when I first received it is just the quality, the craftsmanship, the attention to detail that goes into the make of his knives. Now, I've had my hand on a lot of his knives from Blade Show, but when you physically take one in your hand and examine it and have it for a day or two, which has only been a day, which I'm sure there's a lot more things I'm gonna see on it, you really examine the knife and realize how much attention to detail and how much work goes into little nuances around the entire knife, the sheath, everything about it. It's an amazing thing, and that's why I wanted to kind of make a video where I just spoke about the details of the knife, because I really have to put credit to where credit is due to the maker, to how much work he put into this knife and how much work he put into being a perfectionist, and the pride and the love that was put into making his work. I mean, I had to kind of put a video out just for that, and then, you know, second part will be kind of just using it, showing it work, which I'm kind of on the fence if I even want to use this knife, because it is so good and pristine. But of course I will, because these knives are not, they're artistic pieces, but they are made to work. They're super strong, super tough, and they will impress you how good these things perform. We're really the best knives out there on the market. First and foremost, guys, we have to look at the sheath. I mean, everything about it, just the thickness of the leather. I mean, listen, before even at the smell test, do you guys remember like a leather bomber when you guys were kids? The leather bomber, the big heavy leather jackets with that wool collar and the button with the zipper on the bottom, really thick ass zippers with the big ass buttons, the big bombers that we used to wear as kids. You remember the smell of that leather bomber, that thick ass leather, that quality leather that you got if you got a good bomber? That's exactly what this takes me back to. It's that type of smell of a really high grain quality leather. I mean, it's just really that good top grain leather. But the thickness in it, it's not flimsy, it's tough. Those are either copper or brass pins there. And look at that beautiful red stitching all around. Look at how the embroidery with his logo, with the Jed HORNBEAK logo. Look at the red stitching right around here, around the belt loop, which is also thick and really good quality. And look at just the copper pin, the metal, basically the latch. It just, before I even open this up, guys, you got to see, look at how he shaped it around the knife and how perfect it is shaped around the knife. This thing was custom made for this knife, you know, and also you have the space here where you can kind of pull it out easy. But what I noticed even after a while was when I unlatched this, you notice how he has that beautiful red stitching around the button pin there. When you take this out, first of all, you can raise it up so it's an easy out. But what impressed me the most about this, guys, you see that little latch right there? It kind of just slips in and locks. It locks right in right here, and there's a purpose of why he did this, and look how seamless the transitions is as far as how this knife kind of from the guard locks into place there. I mean, it's actually, I mean, it almost kind of keeps in place without even the button. But obviously once you secure it with the button, I mean, this thing is not going anywhere. Very secure, wonderful fit. Really, really big fan of this sheath. I mean, it's really just so freaking well done. And you got to say, everything about this knife, the sheath, the pins, the stitching, it's all done by Jed. Out of his place in Tennessee, he does everything himself. Everything about this knife he does completely by hand himself. Obviously, there's some machine work, but it's pretty much custom handmade stuff. And it just, you don't find this level of craftsmanship from one person. Usually, sometimes they'll make the knife, and maybe they'll send the work to make the sheath on somebody else. I mean, and this is just the plainest stuff that he has. You got to see the ones that he makes with like the ostrich skin or the real ray skin. I mean, just really amazingly beautiful stuff. I mean, this is an artistic piece. I mean, it's pretty much what you're buying from him is like a piece of art is what you're getting. And that's why I had to show you this knife on its own video and then cutting afterwards, because there's just so much to freaking talk about. All right, so guys, when you take this out, obviously it comes out really easy. I mean, this is pretty much the knife, guys. Now listen, you have the grind work on this. You really got to see the close-ups on the screen, okay? You have to see the blade. Now the blade, I'll give you some specs as we go along, because there's no specs on it because it's not obviously a posted knife. So I did all the measurements myself with all my little, you know, knife measuring tools. So the actual blade itself, that I know is it's an A2 tool steel. A2 tool steel is a very tough steel. It's not, doesn't have the hardness to make it brittle, but it's a very, very tough steel. Great edge retention, and also easy on the maker and easy on the user to be able to come to resharpen it, and it has a really good edge retention. I just love that gray finish he has. It's like a pewter gray finish on the blade. It's just really beautiful. The blade itself is about, the overall length of the blade is about 11.5 inches. The blade itself, from the point all the way to the ricasso, and the ricasso is not wasted space, I'll get to that, but from the point all the way to before the ricasso is about 6.1 inches. With the ricasso, it's probably about 6.15 or 6.17. The cutting edge itself on the knife is at 5.6 inches on the cutting edge, and it's just crazy, crazy sharp out of the box. I mean, it's just the sharpness level that he gives you on his knives is just remarkable. Very, very sharp out of the box. A lot of pride, guys. I mean, I'll say this a million times. There's a lot of pride and love that's put into these knives. But getting back to it, the blade itself is A2 steel. Very good choice on his A2 steel. He uses A2 a lot. He also uses 3V. He uses pretty much top grade materials. Tried and tested. He tests all his steels. He makes a judgment call as far as what steels work on different types of knives, different types of knife links. But you are going to get premium quality steels coming from Jed's work. What we really got to look at, guys, is the blade grinds. Now look at this blade grind on this side. Look how many dimensions in the grinds he has here. I mean, before I even show you the other side, look at the jimping on the top. Really beautiful. Have you ever seen such fancy ass freaking jimping on the top? I mean, you could really basically get a nice grip there, okay, in terms, and be really comfortable. It's not aggressive jimping. It's very good jimping that it's going to be really comfortable on the thumbs. But look at the grind. I mean, I only noticed the grinds, guys, when I started really inspecting this on the video shots. Look how you have different types of grind. Look at the grinds on the point of this knife. Look at the grinds, how they're different in the grooves here. You have the circles with different type of circle grinds there, and how beautiful that cutout is. The grinds are different than on the top with the jimping there. The grinds, even in this little loop here, guys, look how the grinds are different in the loop. And then you look at finally the tang, the full solid construction tang, how the grinds are different around the tang. There's so many different grinds on this knife, so many different dimensions on this knife. And that just, I don't know if he did that intentionally or if he just, I would imagine he takes pride in everything he does on this knife, and he did different grinds on the knife to give each portion, each part of the knife, its own little distinct look and character. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I mean, if you really got to examine it to see how much work he really put into making this knife. Now you turn it to the other side and you got a complete flat type of grind here with a little like shark fins type of thing here, and obviously you got the Jed HORNBEAK symbol here that he carved into the steel. But you notice how you have two different types of grinds. Now, I don't know, me personally, I have never seen that before. If you have seen that before, let me know. But this is so incredibly artistic and so freaking cool. And I would imagine it'll probably be a really good cutter. I mean, having that flat grind there where you're really using the flat grind to kind of just doing some cutting and stuff like that. It's a nice flat area where you can cut with. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this thing cuts. But you got this side and you got this side. It's like you got two different knives, guys, depending on how you hold it. It's pretty freaking amazing. I'm so damn stoked about this and having it in hand finally and seeing firsthand the quality that Jed is putting out. Knives are subjective. You know, certain knives are not for everybody. Somebody might look at this and say, oh, that's too weird for me. It's an artistic expression from the maker. Now, obviously, he can make whatever you want in terms of a traditional knife, but this is his own personal artistic expression. And my personal opinion, I love this. I love this because I love his expression as far as what he's doing with the knife. He's making a really good knife for you. It's not like a fantasy knife. This is a really good, well-made knife, and it's like conceptual art is really what it is. He's a visionary. And even just the quality of the liners, guys, I mean, just the red liners and how smooth and machined this is. And look at this, guys. I love this freaking pommel. Look at this like head splitter, freaking glass breaker type of pommel. You notice how he took the tang and he kind of just melted it up and shaped it into this little glass breaker type of thing. It's a double lanyard holes there. The red, which I don't even think they're pins, but he did the red dots there as a stylistic thing to give it that red and black look. And you guys, if you guys know me at all, you know how much I love red and black. I mean, you can see that the red and black in the back there. It's just, I'm just in love with everything in my blades being red and black, and this is beautiful. I just love this freaking blade. I am not sure if this is micarta or G10. I would venture to say it's micarta. Really smooth, beautiful lines, so incredibly comfortable in the hands, guys. I'll give you the measurements. The handle is around 5 inches from the middle, from here all the way to here. And then the inner handle here, okay, which is probably the most important one, is around 4.2, borderline 4.3 inches. So when you kind of hold it, it really hugs your hand. And if you have large hands, you have a lot of purchase there to basically be able to fit any hand in this knife. And you have a lot of purchase here to be able to hold it. I have large hands. You can imagine if you have XL or 2XL, you'll still be pretty comfortable with holding this knife. The girth of the knife is absolutely perfect. It comes in about, I measured it around 6, a little bit over 6, actually, no, the girth came in at around 0.08 is the girth of the handle, so it's enough to kind of just hug your hand without it being too inflated with a knife this size, and you're pretty much comfortable. And this could be called a self-defense knife. It's a good fighting knife, but I think it's going to be a good all-around camp knife as well, which I'll show you. But as far as grip and balance, there's nothing better, guys. When you finally hold one of his knives in your hand, the balance of them is incredible. Actually, let me just see where the balance is here. You know basically how much work he puts into it. It's actually right here around the handle, which is great because you got a lot of you have a lot of control on the handle and makes it a very light knife where you have control of the blade. The actual weight of the blade is about 13.5 ounces. It's not a very heavy knife. And with that point of balance coming into the handle, you have a lot of control on the tip to be able to do your knife things with it. You know, if you're into the whole practicing and fighting with your knives, you know, I'm not telling you to go fight with your knives, but you know that it can do it and it's light enough to be able to take care of that. And the handle itself, excellently fitted to your hand. Smooth, beautiful micarta, I'm assuming. Great hand grooves, great pommel glass breaker here if you need it. This is not a finger choil. This is a good, beautiful, artistic ricasso. No waste of space here, but you have a really good, generous sharpening choil here. But you have enough grip on this to be able to hold it where you don't need that finger choil there. You can keep your hand here and be perfectly comfortable doing your carving and your wood carving and whatever you need to do with it. Fantastic. Finally, the blade thickness here around the spine is around a little bit over 6 millimeters, 6.22, 6.24 millimeters. It's got a good thick spine. It'll make it a good knife with a really beautiful swedging, okay, here to make it also a really good sticker and slider, okay, sticker and slicer, okay. Nice swedging there. You notice how it's flat there, which is just so, it's so pleasantly odd to the point where I welcome this type of oddness as something new and something artistic, and I love the expression that he's making and giving you that two-tone type of look here. So this is a Jed Hornbeak, guys. I am so excited. Been waiting to get one of his pieces for a very, very long time. Especially when I saw some of his pieces debut on Scab's channel with the Scab Stabber and a couple of Donnie's pieces, the collabs he did with Jed a while back, and I've been kind of looking forward to getting some of his pieces. Now I am going to be doing a collab with Jed for my sword peeps for a short sword. I'm not going to tell you anything more than that, but it's going to be hot. It's going to be cool. So sometime probably, you know, late summer or fall or something like that, we're going to be doing a collab together to design something in terms of a short sword. So I'm really stoked and excited about that. So is Jed, because he hasn't done that before. But this is actually the name of this. This is called the Tanto. So if you wanted this knife, this is a one-of-a-kind from what I understand. I'm excited about getting one-of-a-kind knives. This is the one-of-a-kind. I don't know if he has made any more of these. He probably did, but I'm not sure. I have to really hook up with him on that to see if there's any more out there. But if you want this specific Tanto knife, or if you want a variation of it, if you want the same grinds on your side, I'm sure you can talk to him about that and plan it out. But if you want this Tanto knife as is, I'm sure you can probably contact Jed. I'll put his email, which is, I'll put on the bottom of the screen here, and also his Instagram page on the bottom of the screen. I'll put also in the description. If you wanted to contact him for this knife or any other knives in his collection, definitely look into Jed, guys. He's gonna blow up. He's an amazingly talented knife maker. He's got so much going for him in terms of his designs and his visionary aspect and just his craftsmanship, and the quality pieces that he's putting out is really staggering. It's mind-blowing, it really is. And everything he does is all in-house, and he does everything himself. Check him out, get one of his pieces, because believe me, it's gonna be worth money, because this guy, I can guarantee you, he is going to blow up. A lot of things going on in the back burner that I'm sure is yet to be announced, but this guy's gonna blow up, and you need to get one of Jed Hornbeak's pieces now, okay? Not for any other reason, not for an investment, but just the fact, just having a really well-made American quality knife, something made in the States, something made well in America from an amazingly talented new knife designer and visionary. This is a Jed Hornbeak, guys. I know this is a long one, but there's just so much to freaking appreciate on this knife. There really is. There's gonna be if I have the courage for it, there's gonna be a cutting video on this knife as well. So that's gonna be coming up next on this. But I have to get to some of my other knives. I'm gonna try to get maybe a Condor video done for the Moonshiner, designer Joe Flowers. So that's gonna be coming in hopefully next. And then I'll get you a cutting video with this pretty soon. And I wanna show you it looks great and how well it also is built and is built to work. So impressed with the quality, so impressed with the attention to detail. Thank you for joining me on this video. Till the next sword and knife video, guys. Peace out. Ciao.